It's Oklahoma Archery. Everything archery based out of Oklahoma for Oklahomans. Let's get it started. Hello, everybody. I'm David Bosca.
I'm Neil Cooley.
And this is the Oklahoma Archery Podcast. It's been a few and far between, but we do have it going on. And we got a live audience today. Everybody thought it was kind of humorous that we got a live audience, but anyway.
I say, when are we going to build this into a full studio, like a daytime television kind of situation?
Yeah. Oh, see, they like that.
The way the archery industry is with the clashing of personalities, it would probably be pretty close to Jerry Springer or Steve Wilco for your later fans. That'd be the archery scene in a nutshell as a daytime show, I'm afraid. So yeah. We'll probably have to just keep doing it digitally.
Well, I've always said I've got a face for radio. You know that old saying, and I prove it.
Well, it's good.
That's why I shoot a lot of indoor.
Well, let's go over the indoor season recap. Oh. What's your tuning process been? It seems like you've shot the same bow at pretty much the same draw length and the same arrow for quite a while. So, yeah. What's wrong?
It's working. Yeah, I've got the Mathews Title. It's set up right at 49 pounds, just a touch over 32-inch draw length. It's about the shortest I've shot one, but I'm going to tell you what, it fits. I just like the way that fits, and it works well for me. I've got a 7-power scope. I've got the UV scope, something I've been wanting to change to a different one, but with the season kicking off, I wasn't going to change much. But it's a 7-power. I put the fall away rest on it back midsummer. Had the QAD blade, and it was good, but my OCD head, I was getting some contacts on a vein, and I just couldn't handle it. So I went back to my fall away. Shooting my aluminum 2712s with 225 up front. Easton Super 3D Nox and Flex Fletch 418 vanes.
3 or 4 fletched?
3.
There you go. It's been cooking. You've been going to league night and a couple other. What's on tap for you for the rest of indoor season?
This weekend we've got the Frozen Okie. I'm shooting Friday and Saturday. I think when I signed up, Sunday was full, and so I just said I'll just shoot Saturday for my second round because it's a 60 round both days. So yeah, it's the USA Archery 60 round both days. That's what it is.
Yep.
Still doing leagues. I'm trying to think. Seemed like there were some things coming up. I'm still wanting to try and get over to Brenn's and do the jackpot. It's just a difficult ride for me to go across town in the rush hour. But I keep telling everybody, yeah, I'm gonna make it. So, but yeah, we'll get over there. And I always try once a year to run up to Dewey and shoot his Thursday night shoot. Don't know when I'll make it, but I usually try to do that. We also we always meet up and go do the memorial shoot January 1st up at Sperry.
Yep. Tom Thomas. I think that one is still confirmed for this year. So January 1st at Tulsa Archery. I know you'll have to pre-register for that one. They do have line times that fill up pretty quickly. So y'all plan on going to that one? I know they just redid their target backstop, so it'll be good and stiff for you. Bring some arrow lube if you have it. Yeah, that's always a good shoot. Everybody gets off for the holiday, and we get around, and everybody that knew him remember. And Tom Thomas, he was a great guy to have at an archery club. I mean, he'd get there early, have the fire going, he'd hang out all night. He might not shoot 10 arrows, but he was right in the middle of every story, prank, dirty joke, and usually working on my bow or somebody else's. So, Yep, the Frozen Okie, if anybody wants to go do that one. It's a USA Archery. That means three things: 23 diameter max arrows, under 60 pounds, and no electronic lights on your sight. So that's over at Archery Traditions this weekend. I think there were still about 4 or 5 spots open. Might check whoever's running that this year. You might be able to squeeze onto a line. Probably won't have your first pick as far as time, but it's a good, they put on a good show over there, Ken at Archery Traditions. Big shout out to Ken. We did the live stream of that last year. If y'all want to go check the videos out, see all your, favorite faces and people on the line. So that's a interesting tournament. They've got the Angry Gnome for the most 9s shot. So it's USA Archery, baby 10s only. So if you're a compound shooter, you have to shoot the X to get a 10. So everything else in the yellow is going to be a 9. I think that's one of the most coveted awards in the Oklahoma archery scene. And there's our
all right.
there's our guest for the week.
All right. Drum roll, please. And our guest today,
we've got Nate McMurtry here. He said he couldn't hear us yet. Can you hear us yet? Try it without the earphone.
Hold on. Nate,
we can hear you fine. Try us now.
Nothing going on. He's having some difficulty.
I'm missing something?
We hear you. Yeah. I'm gonna write a note out to tell him.
Unmute your computer or enable the speakers.
Yeah, my pen quit. So
we'll just give him an intro while he can't hear us. Then he's perfectly defenseless.
Hey Nate,
I can't hear you.
That's what we're So we'll do
so while everybody's
out, folks, can you still nothing on our okay?
The joys of audio technical engineering.
Let's see. That's
right.
it.
Okay, do you know how to get this sound to work? It's not working.
Write a note on there that says,
hold on. Never mind, I got
turn your
speakers.
There you go. Can you hear us now?
You had your speakers muted?
Well, I had it. I just messed with them a second ago, but apparently it wasn't working. So. How's it going?
Well, oh man, it's great. How's your week going?
Oh, it's going great. Yeah, nothing to complain about yet.
Well, let everybody know. Give us a quick rundown of who you are, what you shoot, and where you shoot out of.
Okay, I'm Nathan McMurtry. I shoot open, just full open class. Shoot for Okie-Land Bowhunters, as you can see behind me. Shoot Mathews, gotta shoot the best. Neil should switch, but it's okay.
Eventually he'll come to the correct. I'm not going to say dark side, but I'll say the correct side.
Yeah, he'll come around eventually. He'll get there.
It only took me 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. You were shooting PSE for a long time, so
forever.
Took you a while too.
Since the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
He still got that snow camo bow, I bet.
I do.
It's ready in case his bow ever acts up or doesn't do what he wants. I'll go right back to it, I bet.
See, I call that shooter error. If you can't get Mathews to work, it's your fault. Kidding.
That is true. Well, Nate, you've had an impressive couple of years. I know are you 19 or 20 years old?
I'm 18.
18? Freshman, or technically a sophomore at undergrad, going to OU to be pre-med. And when he's not studying the books, he is laying down monster scores on the indoor line. They call him the baby-faced killer. He's usually beating up on the old guys. We never have. I don't think I've ever seen you shoot a youth class.
Nope, never shot a youth class.
One ASA, I think. Young adult, right?
I've shot some young adult ASAs, yeah. That's the only thing.
That's just not fair for the rest of them. Well, you were our this past weekend. You were our champion of I don't know if it was the second or third Gobbler Classic down there at Okie-Land. Tell everybody a little bit about that indoor tournament we were at.
Well, so the Gobbler's down here at Okie-Land, obviously, like you said, and I'm pretty sure it's the third year, right, if I'm not mistaken. Man, to be honest with you, I wasn't having very high expectations. I was shooting good, but I have a lot of problem with nerves, and that's why I'm trying to shoot so much this year to try to finally get comfortable. And if any of y'all know Sly decided to shoot right next to me the whole time, and you know how Sly is, whispering in your ear and stuff. So, no, he was pretty good for the most part, but I was pretty nervous because Sly at the beginning told me, he's like, "You got a lot of room," so that puts the pressure on you. Did not have a lot of room, only had 2 points, but yeah, finally, got through the whole thing. I should have shot 1 point higher than I did, but I got lazy at the end and dropped another one. But pretty good X count. Pretty happy with it.
Did you end up at a 598?
598 with 49, and I had from like my 4th end to my 10th end, I only dropped 1X.
There you go.
So I had a pretty good little stretch there.
So it's a 5-spot Vegas round, and for everybody that struggles with math, that's a 299, 24, and 25X back to back. Pretty smoking on a Vegas face.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, before we get too far along, why don't you take a step into your setup? Tell everybody exactly what you're shooting and your complete setup.
Okay, I shoot a Mathews Title 38 G1. I shoot Hamskea Trinity Target Pro Rest drop away. I shoot Conquest bars. What is it? The Shrewd Optum 41.
Yep.
Shibuya sights. I shoot obviously Mathews. I shoot Easton Arrows. I just switched back to aluminums. I'm really liking those right now. I shoot competition archery points, AE veins, Truball releases. Love the Abyss. That's my favorite release. That's what I've been shooting for several years now. Am I missing anything?
All right. Let's go step back 3 times. What power lens do you shoot?
I shoot a 5 power.
Dot, flow, pin. What do you do?
I shoot just a pin, 19 thousandths pin.
Blue, green, orange, yellow, pink.
Well, I shoot green, and I was shooting a light, but I don't shoot a light anymore, so it looks black to me.
Okay. Bars, front bar 26, 27, 30, 35.
I shoot a 30-inch front bar and a 12-inch rear bar.
1 ounce or 2 ounces on them?
So I'm running 9 ounces on the front and 16 on the rear.
9 and 16. Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's a pretty light setup.
Yeah. No, it's not too heavy. Yeah, not too heavy.
You said you went back to your 2712s. That's mine. That's what I'm gone to with also. What's your point weight?
225, 225 grams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Resume conversation.
Oh, okay. This is a good point. So I do something kind of weird for what most people do. As far as arrows, the X27s, I'm running almost full length shafts. My total arrow length with points and everything is like almost 36 inches. I run like a 33.5-inch shaft, I think. I've just found that really works out of my bow and my draw length. I haven't messed with it a whole lot. I did used to shoot some shorter ones, and I didn't think they shot as well. I've shot a little higher scores. Actually, I just shot a few days ago. I shot 29X in here with those X27s that I'm talking about. So I've had better luck with them as longer. I just feel like they're more forgiving. It's just kind of odd compared to what most people do. But
what's your draw length?
I'm shooting 31-inch draw.
Okay, so you've got a 5-inch, or no, be a 4-inch gap, because the node on them is about 2 1/4, 2.5 inches, and you're so far in front of your rest with that. That's really interesting that you're finding the forgiveness with it.
Yeah.
because I no tuned all mine for the longest time, and this year I just cut them off to the rest. And it seems to me like with those aluminums, I've always been 2 1/4, 2 1/2 in front of my rest, but this year I cut it down, and I really have liked them cut down. So that's interesting that you have found just the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I tried. It was actually on accident, but I had broken some arrows, so I cut them down to where they were straight again. And it ended up being just off of my rest, just barely, like 1/4 of an inch or so. And I just could never get those to shoot as well. I don't know. I haven't done the no tuning like you're talking about, but the length I've started is kind of what I guessed with to start with, and it's shot really well for me. So I'm not going to mess with it.
I was going to say, dude, that just because of someone says something like this, yeah, don't go tinkering just to tinker. I mean, yeah, leave that thing alone. You're blasting them through there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with it.
When you did go that way, did you actually retune the bow, or did you just start shooting it and go, "This is where I like it"?
Do you mean from the longer to the shorter, or do you mean from carbon to aluminum?
Well, let's go with both.
Okay, so from longer to shorter, no, I did not retune the bow. I tuned all my arrows individually. So I did tune the arrows, and I still didn't get those to shoot as well. And then from carbon to aluminum, I also did not tune the bow because they're both 27s. I made sure they were shooting good through paper and everything, but I didn't have to retune them. They were bullet holes for both of them. And then like I said, I still do every arrow. I shoot them through paper, and I knock tune each one through paper, and then I go shoot them at 20 yards and make sure, and then knock tune them a little bit more if they need it to get them all hit in the same place.
So that's
Are you fletching them first?
Go ahead.
Yes,
okay.
I fletch them first because I found that this is something me and Dan were talking about a lot the other day. I found that it's not necessarily, a lot of people think it's the spine that's causing that. I don't think it's a spine at all. I think it's what they're talking about. It's nocks. So what we found is you can take one knock and put an arrow, and then bare shaft tune it and everything, and get it all perfectly straight, and then fletch it, and that one will work just great. But then if you say that you wear that knockout in a month, you put another new knock in the same place, it won't shoot as good. It won't shoot a bullet hole. So it's the knocks themselves that are not straight. So what I do is I fletch on my arrows at the same, on the label and everything. I just pick a spot, fletch them all, and then I put knocks in them, and then I tune each one. And usually they pretty much always work out on one vein or the other, very close.
Yeah. See, I was shooting those Ultra 27s, whatever you want to call them. And I shot them most of the summer, and I liked them. I enjoyed them. I worked well for me. And just loving the aluminums, I went back to them, and I seen an increase in score when I did. But I've never knock tuned aluminums. Now I change my knocks every 30 days. That's just SOP for me, just because of the weight of the arrow. But that's something I've not done, is knock tune aluminums. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something, if you want to shoot really high scores, you have to do that. I was just playing with mine the other day because I had 3 arrows that were really shooting well, and then I had 2 that I just couldn't get to shoot. So I started knock tuning them, got them all where I can shoot inside out X's with them now. I mean, they're all.
That's nice. That's cool. Good idea. Thanks.
Really good. Absolutely.
Let's step back to the tournament itself. We know it's held down there at Okie-Land. Bryn started that up, and it's a 5-spot and everything. What are your thoughts on shooting the small target 5-spot?
Honestly, I thought I was going to hate it. Honestly, I think it might be my favorite target now. I've been shooting it, just practicing with it all the time because I'm planning on going to Rushmore as well. And I don't know. I think Vegas itself, just a 3-spot Vegas face, kind of bothers me because I feel like you have to focus so much for 3 arrows. I feel like I over aim and everything. With 5 arrows, I feel like I just let my shot be what it is, and it just works out better for me. I'm not thinking about so much, I have only 3 arrows. So I just feel like I flow through it better. I'm quicker. It just seems to work better for me. I honestly, I love it. I love the 5-spot Vegas face, but
Did they run a 4-minute timer for it?
they did. Yep.
Well, see, to me, that eases a lot right there. 4 minutes to shoot 5 arrows is so much easier than, I hate to say it, 3 minute or 2 minutes with 3 arrows. That sounds crazy, but it is easier.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. I man, as y'all I'm sure know, I've been always pretty slow, and I'm not that way on a 5 spot. I have plenty of time. I can shoot. Honestly, I pick up the pace quite a bit. I get about 4 arrows done in 2 minutes, which is quite a bit faster than Vegas face. So it works out for me just fine. But
You
So
are typically the last man standing on the line,
yep.
which what walk us through, like, on the mental side. What are you looking for when you let down, and what's your process before you draw your bow again?
Okay. So letdown is so obviously on every draw you're setting your shoulders and everything, setting your. I always try to. I look at the target as I'm coming into my peep, and then I kind of slowly pull up into my face and look through my peep. Do that every time. Set my shoulders every time. Do everything like that, and I sink into the target. Find that helps you be steadier. But if I'm letting down, it's always because I'm getting to. I get to where I usually don't sway very much. I'll shake, but I don't usually sway. So if I start seeing a sway, I usually will let down. Uh, so if I start swaying bad, I'll let down, and then I usually, if I let down, you'll almost always see me turn my bow up and set it on a stabilizer and sit there, kind of take a deep breath, get myself composed, and I'll pick it back up, obviously, and just do the whole thing over again. Draw, set my shoulders, sink into the target, and if it works out that time, I'll shoot that time. If it doesn't, I'll let down again if I have time. But the same process every time.
So you're looking for something that's telling you is it your front shoulder riding up? Is it a collapsing kind of thing?
It's typically it's I'm collapsing. Usually when I get tired, I'll lean back. I can feel myself leaning back, and when I do that, it makes my left shoulder come forward, and it'll make me sway left and right, and that's usually when I let down.
So you're seeing that in the latter parts. How do you recognize that on the front side? Let's say your first two ends when they're just for practice. What are you trying to accomplish in those first two ends?
Uh, so so since I'm shooting a pin and it's only 19 thousandths, I can see holes. So obviously I'm trying to make good shots in the practice ends because more holes you can see for me, easier it is. So I'm still honestly a practice end's really no different than me than
Okay.
to scoring in. I'm trying to get the same. I'm trying to shoot X's. I'm trying to do the same thing in a practice end as I am in a scoring end. Because, like I said, the better holes I have, the easier it is for me to aim, easier it is for me to shoot. I don't really dislike a blank face, but it is a little harder for me to aim. So I like to have holes.
So with the holes you say you can see it,
Mhm.
would you say that you lollipop your pin or do you try to cover that spot that you are trying to look at?
So I try to cover it. When I'm shooting really well, I'm covering it. When I'm shooting just average, I always usually sight my bow in where it's a click or two above my pin, above the center of my pin. So in case, because when I'm shooting just average, I usually always lock just like on the low bottom of the X. So then I just sight my bow into where that'll hit. But if I'm shooting really well, I'll just cover up the center, and then I don't have to do that. But on an average day, I'll lock a little low.
What's your you mentioned you're shooting the Abyss. That's a thumb button for everybody out there. How light or heavy do you have it set, and are you squeezing it, or are you pulling it?
So for most people, mine would be considered really light. Uh, I like it to where I wrap it around right on this little joint here,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of pushing my elbow straight back. I don't really rotate or anything. I just kind of pull straight back, and I like it light enough where I can do that and still get it to go off uh, consistently and pretty quickly because the longer you hold, the worse you get. So, and I also run the knurled barrel on it. I don't like the stock Abyss barrel, the black one. I run the knurled, the one that's on like the goat. I run that because that's also a better feel in my opinion, and I run it a little bit of an angle as well. But
So you was talking that you're looking at the Rushmore Rumble. Have you shot that tournament in the past? Have you went up and shot it?
no, sir.
Oh.
The only big tournaments I've really gone to for indoor is Vegas. I've gone to Vegas twice, but that's really the only thing.
Neil, how long ago, how many years ago was it that we went up there? 3 years? 4 years?
Three or four, I think.
Yeah, when they had it up straight north in I about said Fargo, that's not right. South
South Dakota.
Dakota. Yeah,
Yankton.
yeah.
So this would be the first year they have it at the Indianapolis trade
Yeah.
show.
What was your, just for that information, what is it being in Indianapolis and being with the trade show? Is that part of a hook to try and get you there, or would you have went no matter where it was at?
Well, to be completely honest, I'm only going because it's part of the trade show. I'm going because I'm going with Bryn for the shop,
Okay.
and since it's up there, I'm gonna shoot in it. So just get
So
myself under more
yeah,
nerves.
so it is because of that. That's neat to find someone that it is due to this, you're going to do that too. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So that's an added something Bruce would like to have you fill out a survey on.
They've wanted to have a tournament there. They kicked around the idea of a 25 or 30-yard Vegas round a few years ago. I think that was right before COVID. Never could put it together, and they finally found them a tournament to merge with. So I'm hoping that gets a lot of people there, gets some of the pros out, some of the contingencies, and when you have the attendance, the money's flowing, and when the money's flowing, the attendance follows. So it's like, well, how are we getting? Because they've had every pro there at the Rumble, but they didn't have many booths. They had room for it at Yankton. They could have filled that place up with vendors, but I think it was just, Bee Stinger Gold Tip, aka Tim Gillingham, and like one or two other booths. And it's
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say I wouldn't say that there was booths there. I'd say
yeah,
they brought stuff from the house and threw it out there for everybody to look at.
I think they had I think Elite was there, maybe.
You're
I think
right.
they had,
Darren was there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they'd had a little bit of a turnout, but I guess indoor archers are just more prepared than your 3D crowd. Your 3D crowd, we got to have every manufacturer in the entire industry there to put on a pro-am. But indoor people are like, yeah, it's 20 yards. I'm just going to shoot. I don't care if it's a 3-inch left tear. I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Nathan, you're going to run to Frozen Okie this weekend?
I'd love to. I don't have any. I was waiting on some points for my 23, so I don't have anything set up to shoot it right now.
Well, you can have mine. I don't need to go. I tell you what, I honestly thought I had 2 weeks, and then Saturday, a couple of the guys were talking about it being next week, and I went like, no, it's the 12th. And I was like, no, it's next weekend. And I went, oh my God. So I was like, okay, after League Tuesday, I'll get started. Well, I couldn't wait, man. That's just 1 full day or 2 full days. So I started yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to rush through this, and I'm going to hate it the whole way through.
Mm-hmm. I've got some.
Yeah.
I might run some 3D arrows. I have some 23 3D arrows that I might run for it, but I was gonna try to set up some 23 15s, but I don't have the points in yet. So
What points was you wanting to run them? Because that's what I've got.
I'm gonna run 200 grain competition archery there. What are they called? The indoor ballistic.
Yep.
Yep.
I've got some of their, because they were older arrows for me. I've had them forever. I've got some of the 2315s, which is their standard pro points, the 200 grain. Yeah. I got some 180s in the same, and I got 300s in the same. Yeah, them 300s. Whoa, let me tell you. Now that's a tip in those 23s.
Yeah, the
It's a little
200s.
much.
I've had. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played with them much, but I'm gonna try the 200 and see. I think they'll work out, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you go with the pro points in your 27s?
Yep, I'm running indoor ballistics for them as well.
I tell you what, I've had them, and I just got ever shape size for them. And then this year he came out with those ones that are black, and I went,
Mm-hmm.
oh man.
I really liked those, but if I'm not mistaken, they only make those for the X27s and 200 grain. I didn't see any 225s.
I haven't looked that close. I would assumed that they would be. Maybe he just didn't have them coated yet.
Maybe that might be
Yeah.
the case.
So yeah, we all need to go together and get an order put together.
I say,
Yeah.
I know Broadwater used to do the same, like kind of like Nate was talking about, just about a full length aluminum 27, because you'd see those things sticking out of his quiver at Vegas, and they were just about to the top of his head. I mean, I was like, I don't know how you grabbed him back there. I'd be throwing my shoulder out of socket trying to grab a knock. Um, so what's it like when because I don't want to say you're just an indoor shooter. I know you shoot 3D, you shoot 3D very well. What do you do when it comes to the springtime as far as switching over to a lighter arrow for 3D? Like, what's your strategy there?
So as far as bow setup, I change absolutely nothing. I shoot the same thing out of my, I shoot my indoor bow, my Title 38, and I just throw some 23s on it. I have a slight knock high tear, but I mean, it's just the tiniest bit. So I just run it like that. Like I said, I still knock tune all of those arrows. I kind of honestly, I use indoor as kind of my bench point. My benchmark. So I run, like when I was tuning my 3D arrows, I just shot indoor rounds with them. And if like I was getting where I could shoot 26, 27Xs with them, and I'm like, that's good enough. And I've shot really high scores with them. Shot 26 up like the last 3D round I shot this year. So shoot pretty good rounds with them doing that. So I don't have any reason to change my bow much if I can shoot good scores like that.
Same point weight or a little bit lighter?
So I am shooting a lot lighter. So I'm shooting Super Drive 23s for that, and I'm shooting 140 grain. 140 grain, also competition archery, and it's their 3D ballistic or whatever they're called, the black coated ones.
Yeah,
A little more forgiving on the kickouts.
Yep, I tried 100 grain, and I've tried 120 grain, and I've tried 140 grain. 140 grain is by far the most consistent from what I found. I just couldn't get the others to group as well. They're worse on kickouts, like you said. They just didn't work as well.
how many pounds you pull indoor and outdoor?
I'm shooting 60 pounds for both.
Okay.
That's pretty much where I found the 23s with a $140 in them was the best out of my setup. So I think it was about 64 pounds, but my arrow was a little shorter, so had to break that spine down any way you can.
Yeah, my draw length's long enough. I don't have to worry about speed, so I just run 60 pounds.
See, yep. I don't. I maybe because I've been out of it so long, but I don't care too much about spine. It doesn't matter to me. I mean,
spine is kind of one of those. I feel like it's a kind of conspiracy in a way. Obviously, it matters, but I feel like people think it matters way more than it really does.
I agree. Yeah.
I feel like I found you can get a lot of stuff to work if you just set the bow up right. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be grossly underspined or overspined, but for the most part, I found I can get most arrows to work out of my stuff. Doesn't really matter what the spine is. So
I've kind of look at it a little bit backwards, because for indoor, everybody shoots the big 27s, and it's like having only 20 yards to correct. I'm a little more conscious of it indoor. When you get out 30, 40, 50 yards, it's got that much more distance to correct, and I feel like it's gonna you're gonna let the veins do what they're supposed to do, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. It seems so much more critical for indoor than for me, or I guess it seems like I notice when it's shooting something that's a piece of rebar down there. So definitely more conscious of it the shorter we get distance wise.
I can understand that thought. Yeah, but I'm where my beliefs have been like what Nate was saying. He left his long. I am in the camp right now, if I'm being short, because what I got was with the long ones, I was getting to where I was touching the outsides of the tin lines more than staying center. and I contributed it all to me. I know my shot process, and I know how I get on those triggers. But hey, I own it. I know what it is. But with the blade sitting there, if I had it just, let's say, like right there at the tip, if I was to be pointing straight, that tip wouldn't guide it. But if it was out there further, it would really want to make it go left and right with the same amount of movement in the back end. With a cleaner shot, which let's be real, we know you make a cleaner shot than I do. That's probably absolutely, I can see how that's working. But does that make sense? I know my release, and I don't make that clean of a shot. And with it out there, if I do the same movement, it's kicking more.
It's moving
That's
more.
why
Yeah.
I've cut mine off.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. I mean, obviously, the longer it is from the pivot point, the more it'll move.
Yeah.
I haven't had, like I said, I haven't had any trouble with that. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I go back to, I honestly, truth is truth, Nate. Let's be real. You're a much better. I'm sure your release is so much smoother than what mine will be on my best day. Okay. No, it's a fact. It's a fact. Uh, so I have made my setup what works for me the best. Now,
And that's all you can do.
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, we can tell you all this, all that we think, but you got to figure it out yourself. Basically, in the long run, you got to find out what works for you. And that's what all of us have done just over years and years of doing this. So
Time on the line, baby. Time on the
yep,
line.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's important. You got to figure out what works on any given day, and then you got to figure out what works good under pressure. And the two are not the same. I've heard Rick Gilly say that many times. Yeah, it'll shoot, and I got under some pressure, and it didn't react the same way I was hoping it did, or it didn't do what it didn't feel like it normally does. So got to crank up the holding weight, slap some more stabilizers on it, maybe drop down a power and magnify. There's everything you're looking for something when, the nerves are high, it's a high leverage, high pressure situation, and all of a sudden the bow just doesn't aim good. And it's like, what do you go to first? Like, what's your first, indication that we got to make a change? We can't live life this way. Do I just tear the whole bow down and start over, or is it something that maybe just a little less draw length or a little more holding weight, or what's your first indication that you look for something to change?
So I'm not the biggest proponent of higher holding weight. I sit around, honestly, I can't even tell you. I sit around probably 12 to 14 pounds holding weight, kind of in that range, depending on what bow I'm shooting. And I found that really works for me. I pull into the back wall pretty hard, so holding weight honestly doesn't bother me a whole lot anyways, because I'm pulling more than that anyways. What I'll change is usually if I'm getting in, if I'm having trouble under pressure, like this is why I switched to X27s, is I found that under pressure with my carbons, I honestly can't explain this to you for 100%, but when I was getting under pressure, I would find that my shots that felt good, they weren't hitting. So what I think was happening is I was coming, like you said, I was coming off the back wall just the tiniest bit. But when I switched to aluminums, I haven't seemed to have that problem. So I don't think that's what it is, because it has to be something error related, because I don't know why
I think that aluminum absorbs more of a micro movement versus the carbon. Because with the carbon being such a stiff animal to begin with, it reacts quicker coming out of the bow. So the aluminum is going to absorb more coming out of the bow. And if you make a ever so variation back here, that carbon, it's going to show up more downrange.
that very well might be the case, because I definitely noticed I was having trouble. I could shoot fine in just normal every day, when I'm relaxed with my carbons, but I would get into a high pressure situation, and I would just have some shots that I'm like, that shouldn't have been there. And I switched to aluminums, and I was shooting even a little better in practice with them, and then I wasn't having that trouble under pressure. So it's probably something like what you're talking about, where the aluminum just takes up more of that. because I haven't had nearly as much trouble with the weird, unexplained stuff under pressure with the aluminums.
Yeah. And the only reason I say that is, to me, my variations in my shot has always been when I feel like I'm trying to get comfortable to hold it super still in those situations you're talking about, is with me trying to get comfortable. I've always wanted to, I just slightly would want on that moment of release, it would just jump forward just a slight. So I've added tons of weight to my bars to force me to hold and pull harder without adding holding weight, like exactly what you're talking about. My bars are so heavy now compared to what they were 3 weeks ago, but that's what's helped me in that. So, yeah.
And I've really thought about that. I'm really wanting to play around with adding some more weight. I need to order some more weights in, but I've really thought about the same thing. I thought about trying some more weight because I used to shoot less weight. I used to shoot several ounces less front and rear, and I found adding more weight definitely helps. So I'm thinking about doing the same thing, just increasing weight. Try to keep it in the same ratio because find that really works for me at my angle that I'm using and everything. But I'm definitely thinking about doing the same thing and just increasing weight. See if that'll help me.
Have you ever seen, whenever I'll demonstrate, finding your pivot point on your stabilizers?
I haven't.
Okay, this right here will do a good example. Do this. It'll save you 45 minutes on the range, because all you're doing is changing the pivot point in the palm of your hand. That's what you're doing. So you take your quick disconnect, or you take them out of both of it. Leave one quick disconnect knurl on one of the two. It doesn't matter, and you'll screw them together. Okay, and then you'll get a sharp V. Make it a plastic, whatever, something. And then what you'll do is, here's something. You'll lay those stabilizers on it, and you'll find your balance point as it is. Take your magic marker and make a mark right there. Add your weight where you want. 1 ounce here, nothing on the back. Put them together, and then you're going to see that balance point is going to change one way or the other. Well, that'll tell you how much you need to do on this opposite end to get it back exactly where it was at. That saves a lot of time on the range. And then you can go, okay, it's the same balance point. Can I hold that much up front and on the back now? That's how you could do that without any major changes.
That's really smart. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that's very smart. That does the same thing. It's just keeping it in the same
Yeah,
balance, and I don't have to waste all the time.
that's it. That's the best way to do that. It really is.
That makes sense.
Mine, when I was a little bit lighter on my current indoor bow, it was, I think, 10 on the front and 16 on the back. And it holds good. It needs a little more. I think the sweet spot's 12 and 18 for me. So somewhere in between that 10, 16, 12, 18 mark is the sweet spot. And it might be a minimal. I mean, I could go 11, 17. I don't know. I like even numbers. I don't know what the deal with that is. Some kind of undiagnosed autism or something. But somewhere in there between, any heavier than 12 and 18 is too much. I know that's it just it swings too far out of the middle. But 10 and 16 was just a little bit jumpy. But if I added just one to the front, it was starting to drag low. So
I was just gonna say, Neil, I think a lot of that is also the in and out of your back bar.
Yeah.
If you've got it to the outside of your arm, it'll want to tip more. I have always found with it there, or just to the inside of that elbow, is always been a good sign to keep from hurting your arm, and to keep that. And that way, when you shoot, your bow does this. And if you put too much bias in it as it shoots, then it won't want to kick back. Nate, how do you got your back bar set up? Or are you running a V bar?
I'm running just a single.
Okay.
And I'm honestly, I haven't checked for sure, but I bet mine's a little bit on the inside of my arm, probably.
Yeah.
I found that really works.
Yeah.
Like he said, it's jumping forward properly and it's not trying to lean one way or the other.
I've always been the kind that liked the bias, but I had to do that with light weights. Now that I'm mainly on this heavier stuff, I'm just going to tell you, I can't do that bias with that because as I shot, that it wanted to do this really bad.
So I actually, I love a bias. I found that works better for me personally. I found that if you don't have a bias, my dad didn't shoot a bias for quite some time. I found if you don't have a bias, especially when you get nervous or get under pressure, you're really bad about tilting one way or the other. So I found with a bias, you're having to hold it one way. I found that's much more consistent, especially under high stress situations.
I found that also with lightweight. But and when I say lightweight, I was exactly like you. Anywhere from 5 to 9 on the front and 11 to 14 on the back. That's what I call a lighter weight. And I absolutely agree. You can control that all the way through the shot. Your hand doesn't move. But I've got 21 on the back right now, and I think 13, maybe 14 on the front. I think 13. And when I tried that, man, that weight, and I got a 15-inch back bar. I had the 18 and I went back to a 15. But I found myself with that much extra, boy, did it want to take control. Yeah.
I found when I was setting up my skinny arrow bow this past summer to go to Indiana, I was working with Scott Hamlin at one of the shot events, actually. So we were out there on the practice range for like 3 hours in the summer heat, just tinkering. And we swung my back bar out almost to where you could use it as a bow stand. I mean, way far out. Took about 4 ounces off of it. And some part of it lets you push a lot. You've got to bias into holding your bubble right. But it let me push in a way that it kept my front shoulder, my bow shoulder, a little bit more stable, and it let me take about 4 ounces off the back. So I was lighter, but I could also push. And for the first 6 to 10 shots, I hated it. I was fighting it. But once I got used to changing the grip to adjust for the pressure, I realized that, well, my bow's 4 ounces lighter, and I can push on it a lot more without having nearly the pin movement associated with that. So definitely something out there to try if you're struggling with, how much do I push into the bow, or my bubble's level, but it just doesn't aim right. Swing that back bar out, egregiously. And I think I was running like 12 and 14. I was almost to that 1-to-1 ratio. And it made a difference. I liked it for a while. The only thing I didn't like was it would want to fall over when I put it on my bow stand. So that was the downside to it. And my bow was always in the dirt.
I think it goes back to what we were all saying just a while ago. It's time on the line, and it's finding out what works for you. Yeah.
Yeah, people are so individual. I found when I started this, I found that people would tell me all kinds of stuff, and I'd try it. But sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. You kind of just got to figure out what works for you. And it took me quite a while just to get to where I got to where I could really even find what I really liked. Because you got to first of all, you got to get good enough at shooting. You can tell that it's helping or it's hurting.
That's right. Then, what changed? That's right.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you've got to, from there, you can finally tell if it, like I said, if it's better or not. But it takes a while just to get to where you're good enough to be able to tell.
And I call it my encyclopedia. Sometimes that didn't work, but 3 months later, you're going to do something else, say a grip. All of a sudden, that from the past now works with this. You just got to pull it back out each time. So, yeah.
I say Dave changed my grip a week ago, so now we have to go back and revisit every dead end avenue over the past 3 or 4 years, and it's finally taken a lot of the torque out of my shot. I've got a lot of grip torque, and we've changed it away to where I'm torquing back to the right, and now we can revisit everything from stabilizer weights to back bar angles to, I mean, you name it, it's going to be a whole new ball game. And if it's the winter time during indoor season, you've got time. You know, I'm trying to get ready for 3D. I know, you know, I'm not going to win Vegas or anything like that. So I don't even know if I'm going to go to Vegas, first of all, but I'm going to shoot some indoor tournaments, and I'm going to use those as like a litmus test for how's the bow work. You know, I didn't know I showed up to the Gobbler with 5 arrows and immediately pulled the tip out of one of my arrows when I was shooting, just trying to get it dialed in. I was like, well, I'm down to 4. So we shot the Gobbler with 5 borrowed arrows and a release I bought that day. So, you know, it's, you got plenty of time to figure it out. And, you know, I always try to tell people, be open-minded, because you can spend your whole life trying to figure it out on your own based on what doesn't work. But just look around you, and you got 20 guys there that have tried the same things, probably, you know, without a whole lot of success, and they'll be the first one to tell you what worked for them, because, you know, they want to share that. So, you know, be open-minded if you're gonna get some coaching or some free advice.
Well, we've been on this about 50 minutes. I know I've got some stuff piling up here at work. Nate, we appreciate your time. Why don't you run through your sponsors once again, okay?
Okay. Shoot for Mathews, Conquest Stabilizers, Easton Arrows, Truball releases, shoot Shibuya sights, Shrewd scopes, Shrewd back bar mounts and everything. Is that it?
No, you're leaving out one that's right behind you that you better not leave out.
Oh, Okie-Land. I'm sorry.
There you go.
And then I shoot Feathervision lenses.
What was that last one? I was laughing.
Feathervision lenses.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, Nate. We really appreciate you coming on and talking and being everything. I'm sure if Dan's not there, he's coming in this pretty quick. So go in and tell him some super.
He's already here. Yeah, he's been here the whole time.
We gotta get Dan on the podcast. I wouldn't have been shooting tournament archery or be in this state of misery if not for Dan Gaston. So
he must be right there.
He's right here. Yeah.
When I showed up to the indoor range, he looked at my bow and looked at my rest and said, "That rest is older than you." And we took it off and put a Hamskea on there. And I was like, "Here, I'll save that." He goes, "I'll save you the trouble," and threw it in the trash. Oh man. Well, shout out to everybody out there in listener land. We appreciate you guys. Drop us a comment. Let us know who you want to see on the next podcast. And big thanks to all our sponsors: Summit Bowstrings, Cooper Heat and Air, and H&H Archery. We appreciate all the support you guys give us. So y'all go shoot your bow, get time on the line. Frozen Okie this weekend, and is Rushmore the next? Is it Rushmore? Then.
No, Rushmore's in January.
Rushmore's early January. Yeah. It's
Okay,
like
so
the 6th through the 8th or something.
Mm-hmm.
So what's between the Frozen Okie and Rushmore?
When's Iowa? Iowa's coming up pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah, a week or two. Yeah. So Rushmore, Iowa, then maybe Indiana, the Hoosier.
Hoosiers,
I think the Hoosier.
Hoosiers weekend
after Iowa. Okay, so you got the Frozen, the Iowa, the Indiana, and then off to Indianapolis. So all the I's together, and then wherever they moved NFAA to, Memphis, Nashville.
That's not till March.
Well, we're going to be there before you know it.
Neil's lost. He can quote last year's 3D schedule, but he doesn't know what's going on in the next 45 days indoor.
Yeah, but they're still waiting on the scores to get posted, and they want the raffle tickets from it, so they're out to get me for it. So y'all, for all your ASA clubs out there, we got an email. Club renewal and registration should be open by the 9th of December. So this is your 1 week notice. I'm going to give you some peace and quiet to go deer hunt, and then I'm going to be bugging you for your renewal paperwork starting December 9th.
All right.
That's it.
Neil, we appreciate it. Nate, appreciate it. And congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Tell your dad we said hi.
We will. Okay,
right.
thank you.
Bye, guys.
Y'all be good.